The Fed just made a move that could cost you $4,200 a year. The Fed's decision to keep interest rates steady has significant implications for your finances, and it's happening now. You'll learn how this decision affects your borrowing costs and what you can do to mitigate the impact. But what does this mean for your wallet? The Fed's decision to keep interest rates steady may seem like a neutral move, but it could lead to higher borrowing costs for consumers. For example, if you have a $200,000 mortgage with a 4% interest rate, your monthly payment would be $955. But if the interest rate increases to 5%, your monthly payment would jump to $1,073. That's an extra $118 per month or $1,416 per year. And if you have a $5,000 credit card balance with an 18% interest rate, you could pay $150 in interest per month. But if the interest rate increases to 20%, you'll pay $175 in interest per month. That's an extra $25 per month or $300 per year. So, the total extra cost for these two examples would be $1,716 per year. Additionally, consider the example of John, who has a $300,000 mortgage with a 4.5% interest rate. But the part that surprised me most is what this does to your 401k. And I'm not just talking about the interest rates. I'm talking about the potential for a decrease in the value of your investments, which could be devastating for those nearing retirement. For instance, back in 2008, we saw a significant decline in the value of 401k accounts, with some people losing up to 30% of their retirement savings. We'll explore what you can do to protect yourself from a similar situation, and it starts with understanding the impact of the Fed's decision on your 401k. In the next section, we'll dive into a specific example of how the Fed's decision could impact your 401k and what you can do to mitigate the effects. The Fed's decision could also impact your 401k. For instance, if you have a $100,000 401k balance and the interest rate increases, you may see a decrease in the value of your investments. Let's say you have a mix of stocks and bonds, and the stocks have a 7% return, but the bonds have a 4% return. If the interest rate increases, the value of the bonds may decrease, which could impact your overall 401k balance. And if you're planning to retire soon, this could be a significant concern. But what if you could mitigate this impact? We'll explore some strategies to help you protect your 401k. For example, you could consider diversifying your portfolio or adjusting your investment mix. Back in 2015, the Fed raised interest rates, and we saw a significant decrease in the value of bonds. However, those who had diversified their portfolios were able to mitigate the impact. Consider the example of Sarah, who had a $50,000 401k balance and was able to mitigate the impact of the Fed's decision by diversifying her portfolio. We'll explore more examples like this and provide you with actionable steps to protect your 401k. Additionally, a common misconception is that the Fed's decision only affects stocks, but in reality, it can also impact bonds and other investments. Now, let's look at what you can do to prepare for the potential impact of the Fed's decision on your finances. We'll explore specific strategies, such as paying off high-interest debt and building an emergency fund that can help you mitigate the effects of higher borrowing costs and protect your 401k. But before we dive into those strategies, let's take a look at a real-life example of how someone was able to prepare for a similar situation in the past. In the next section, we'll explore a specific example of how you can take control of your finances and protect yourself from the potential impact of the Fed's decision. So, what can you do to prepare for the potential impact of the Fed's decision on your finances? One strategy is to pay off high-interest debt, such as credit card balances, as soon as possible. For example, if you have a $5,000 credit card balance with an 18% interest rate, you could consider paying it off with a personal loan that has a lower interest rate, such as 6%. This could save you $100 per month in interest payments or $1,200 per year. Another strategy is to build an emergency fund to cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This could help you avoid going into debt if you lose your job or face an unexpected expense. And if you're planning to buy a house, you may want to consider locking in a low interest rate now before the Fed's decision takes effect. Consider the example of Mark, who was able to save $500 per month by paying off his high-interest debt and building an emergency fund. Back in 2010, we saw a significant increase in personal savings rates, which helped many people weather the financial storm. A second-order effect of paying off high-interest debt is that it can also improve your credit score, which can lead to lower interest rates on future loans. But remember, this is for education, not financial advice. Talk to a fiduciary for your situation. In summary, the Fed's decision to keep interest rates steady could have a significant impact on your finances, potentially costing you $4,200 per year. To mitigate this impact, consider paying off high-interest debt, building an emergency fund, and locking in low interest rates. Take control of your finances by taking action today. As a next step, consider reviewing your budget and identifying areas where you can cut back on unnecessary expenses to free up more money to pay off debt or build your emergency fund. Additionally,